Imagine sitting at a table, and your food is still moving. A creature with hundreds of razor-sharp teeth staring back at you. Or a single bite that could mean the difference between life and death. For most of us in the West, these animals are the stuff of nightmares. Ugly, slimy, terrifying. But in other parts of the world, they are dinner. Not just dinner, delicacies. Celebrated, cherished, and even considered a test of bravery. From live octopus in Korea to giant water bugs in Thailand. From bat soup in the Pacific to poisonous pufferfish in Japan. These dishes shock outsiders, yet they carry centuries of culture, survival, and tradition. So, why do people eat them? Is it about taste, nutrition, survival, or something far deeper in human culture? Tonight, we dive into the world of ugly animals and the shocking meals that might just change the way you look at food forever. In the shadowy rivers of Europe and North America, there lives a creature that looks more like a monster than a meal. It has no jaws, no scales, and no bones in its face. Instead, a round suction-like mouth, lined with concentric circles of razor-sharp teeth. This is the lamprey. To most people, it is terrifying, slimy, eel-like, and primitive. A living fossil unchanged for more than 360 million years. Lampreys are parasites. They latch onto fish with their circular mouth. They drill into flesh and drink blood. Imagine pulling a salmon out of the river, with a lamprey still clinging, feeding. To fishermen, lampreys were long considered a nightmare. Yet in medieval Europe, they became a prized delicacy. Royals and nobles demanded lamprey pies at their feasts. They believed the rich, oily flesh carried strength and flavor. It was said that no royal banquet was complete without lamprey. Legend tells us King Henry I of England died after overindulging in lamprey. Historians debate the truth, but the story shows how deeply lamprey was tied to culture. In Portugal today, lamprey remains a celebrated seasonal dish. Every spring, chefs simmer it in red wine, garlic, and spices. A river parasite, transformed into gourmet tradition. To outsiders, the sight is unbearable. The slippery, snake-like body, the gaping mouth of teeth. Most would run before taking a bite. Yet to locals, lamprey is heritage, not horror. In North America's Great Lakes, invasive lampreys nearly destroyed fish populations. Ecologists fought to eliminate them, while chefs asked, could a pest also be food? This duality makes the lamprey fascinating. To some, it is a blood-sucking monster. To others, a delicacy worth celebrating. It all depends on culture, perspective, and the courage to taste what most people fear. So when you hear about lamprey, what will you see? A parasite of the river, or a treasure on the plate? The answer may reveal more about us than about the lamprey itself. In the Pacific Islands and parts of Southeast Asia, another creature takes the stage. It is not from the water, but from the sky. Hanging upside down in caves, with leathery wings spread wide, the bat looks like a symbol of fear. In Western culture, bats are tied to darkness, vampires, and disease. They are creatures of horror films and Halloween decorations. But in many parts of the world, bats are food. In Guam, Palau, and Indonesia, fruit bats are stewed into soups or fried until crisp. The entire animal is often cooked whole, wings, head, and all. To an outsider, the sight is disturbing, as if horror had been served in a bowl. But for locals, bat meat is considered rich, nutritious, and deeply traditional. In Palau, flying fox soup is prepared with coconut milk, ginger, and island spices. Families gather to share it during celebrations, treating it as a delicacy. In Guam, stories tell of elders drinking bat broth for strength and vitality. Some even believed it could sharpen the senses or cure certain ailments. To Western eyes, the practice may seem shocking, even grotesque. But remember, food traditions are shaped by survival. Islands with limited livestock turn to the skies for protein. Fruit bats, feeding on blossoms and mangoes, became a valuable source of meat. Eating bat was never about novelty, it was about necessity. Of course, in recent decades, bats have also been linked with disease. Health officials warn of risks, sparking global debates. Yet for communities where bat soup is heritage, the practice continues. To them, it is not fear, but comfort, not horror, but home. Once again, perspective changes everything. The same creature that symbolizes nightmares in one culture is celebrated as nourishment in another. The question is not just about bats. It is about how we define food, how we judge tradition, and how far we are willing to push the boundaries of taste. So, when you see a steaming bowl of bat soup, what will you feel? Revulsion, fascination, or perhaps curiosity? One thing is certain. This dish forces us to confront our deepest instincts about what belongs on the plate. In the bustling streets of Seoul, among sizzling barbecues and steaming stews, lies a dish that makes foreigners hesitate. On a simple white plate, its tentacles still wriggle. The suckers cling to the surface, twitching as if the creature refuses to die. This is isanaki, live octopus. To most outsiders, the sight is shocking, even terrifying. Eating something still moving feels like crossing a line. But for many Koreans, sanaki is not horror. It is freshness, vitality, and even a symbol of strength. Octopus has long been part of Korean cuisine. Farmers, fishermen, and workers ate it for energy to endure long days. The belief, if the tentacles are still moving, the meat is truly alive with power. Served with sesame oil, garlic, and dipping sauce, the taste is subtle, almost sweet. The real challenge is not flavor, but the risk. The suction cups grip tightly, sticking to the tongue and throat. If swallowed carelessly, they can block the airway. Each year, a handful of accidents remind everyone, this is no ordinary dish. Yet, the danger is part of the thrill. For adventurous eaters, sanaki is the ultimate test of courage. Travel bloggers and food challengers flock to Korea to try it. Videos of tourists wrestling with wriggling tentacles have gone viral. To locals, it can feel amusing. What outsiders see as grotesque, Koreans see as tradition. The dish connects modern diners to ancient practices. In a culture where freshness equals health, sanaki carries deep meaning. It is not just about food, but philosophy. To eat life while it still moves is to absorb its strength. Outsiders may cringe, but for those raised with it, sanaki is comfort. Once again, culture defines taste. What is shocking in one world is everyday dining in another. So, would you dare? When the tentacles curl on your chopsticks, fighting to escape, will you drop them or take the bite? In that moment, sanaki becomes more than food. It becomes a mirror, reflecting fear, bravery, and the endless variety of human appetite. In the vibrant night markets of Thailand, the air is filled with sizzling oil and exotic aromas. Among skewers of chicken, piles of noodles, and trays of tropical fruit, lies something unexpected. A tray glistens under the neon lights, piled high with giant insects. This is the giant water bug, known locally as mindaw. To most outsiders, it looks horrifying. As large as a thumb, with wings, bulging eyes, and sharp legs. At first glance, it feels impossible to imagine eating one. But in Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos, water bugs are a popular snack. Vendors fry them in hot oil until crispy and golden brown. Some are roasted, others boiled, and a few even soaked in alcohol. When served, the smell is surprisingly fragrant, almost floral. That is because the male water bug releases an essence with a cinnamon-like aroma. Locals crush the insect's body and use it as seasoning in chili sauces. It is not just street food, but also a traditional ingredient in Thai cuisine. To Thais, the flavor is rich, nutty, and slightly sweet. For Westerners, the first bite is usually pure shock. The crunch of the shell, the burst of oil, and the idea of chewing a bug overwhelm the senses. Yet, after the fear passes, many describe the taste as surprisingly pleasant. Insects like water bugs are also high in protein and low in fat. For centuries, they have been a practical source of nutrition. Today, chefs and scientists point to insects as a sustainable food of the future. Farming insects requires far less land, water, and resources than raising cattle or pigs. What began as survival food may one day become a global necessity. Still, the cultural divide remains strong. To Thai families, water bugs are normal, even nostalgic. To foreign visitors, they are shocking, Instagram-worthy dares. The same insect that makes some scream makes others smile with memories of childhood snacks. Once again, beauty and ugliness are in the eye of the beholder. Is it disgusting, or is it delicious? The giant water bug challenges us to rethink what food can be. Deep in the deserts of Australia, hidden beneath the roots of acacia trees, lives a creature that few outsiders would dare to eat. It is pale, fat, and wriggling, the witchetty grub. To most Western eyes, it looks like a nightmare larva. But for thousands of years, it has been a vital food for Australia's Aboriginal people. The grub is rich in protein, moisture, and fat. In a harsh desert where water and meat are scarce, it was survival food. Women and children dug into tree roots, carefully pulling the grubs out by hand. Eaten raw, the texture is soft and creamy, like almonds mixed with scrambled eggs. When roasted over hot ashes, the skin becomes crisp, while the inside turns buttery. To outsiders, this might sound revolting. But to Aboriginal Australians, the witchetty grub is tradition and culture. It appears in Dreamtime stories, myths that explain the origins of the world. Eating the grub was not just nutrition, it was ceremony, identity, survival. Today, it remains a symbol of bush tucker, the unique foods of the outback. Tourists on survival tour are often challenged to try one. Some gag, others laugh nervously, but many are surprised by the mild taste. Scientists note that insects like grubs may be part of a sustainable future diet. Farming cattle produces methane and demands huge resources. But insects are efficient, providing protein with far less impact. What was once seen as primitive food is now studied as modern superfood. Still, the cultural divide is striking. For Aboriginal people, witchetty grubs are heritage. For visitors, they are a shocking test of courage. Once again, perspective turns disgust into delicacy. Would you dare to bite into a living larva? Or could you imagine roasting it over a fire and tasting the flavor of the outback? To some, it is ugly. To others, it is life itself. The witchetty grub reminds us, food is never just food. It is memory, culture, and survival, wrapped in the most unexpected forms. In the elegant restaurants of Japan, behind polished counters and quiet rituals, lies one of the world's most dangerous delicacies. A fish with innocent eyes, a round body, and a deadly secret. This is the fugu, the Japanese pufferfish. To most diners, it is a symbol of risk and reward. Within its organs lies tetrodotoxin, a poison hundreds of times stronger than cyanide. Just a few milligrams can paralyze the body and stop the heart. There is no known antidote. Yet despite the danger, fugu has been eaten in Japan for centuries. In ancient times, warriors and peasants alike sought its rich, delicate flesh. The government once tried to ban it, but demand never faded. Today, only licensed chefs may prepare fugu. Training takes years of discipline and precision. One mistake with the knife could mean death for the customer. Yet diners continue to pay hundreds of dollars for a single meal. Why? Because eating fugu is not just about taste. It is about trust in the chef, in tradition, in the balance between life and death. Thin slices are arranged into patterns, like chrysanthemum flowers, symbols of both beauty and mourning. The presentation reminds diners of the danger with every bite. To outsiders, the idea of paying for poison sounds insane. But to the Japanese, fugu represents courage, mastery, and cultural pride. Chefs who pass the test wear it like an honor, a badge of skill and discipline. For tourists, tasting fugu is often a once-in-a-lifetime dare. Some describe the flavor as light, almost bland. The thrill comes not from the taste but from the risk. Others savor its subtle sweetness, believing no other fish compares. In recent years, aquaculture farms have bred non-toxic pufferfish. These are safer, but many argue they lack the soul of the original. Because for centuries, fugu has been defined not only by its taste, but by the danger it carries. It is food as philosophy, a reminder of how thin the line is between life and death. Would you trust your life to a stranger's knife skills for a single bite? For those who dare, fugu is not just dinner. It is an unforgettable experience, a dance with danger, served on porcelain plates. In the rice fields of Southeast Asia, as farmers harvest their crops, another hunt takes place. Not for fish or birds, but for rats. Sleek, quick, and often feared in the West, these rodents are captured by hand, net, or trap. To many outsiders, the idea of eating a rat is horrifying. Images of city sewers and disease come instantly to mind. But in rural Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos, the field rat is something entirely different. These rats feed on rice and grain, not on garbage. Their meat is lean, clean, and surprisingly tender. Farmers see them as both pest and prize. By hunting rats, they protect their crops while putting extra food on the table. In villages, rat hunting is a community activity. Children chase them through the paddies, while adults prepare traps. The captured rats are skinned, cleaned, and grilled over open flames. Served with lemongrass, chili, and garlic, the aroma is mouth-watering. The taste, many compare it to rabbit or even free-range chicken. Crispy on the outside, juicy inside, it surprises first-time visitors. In Cambodia, rat meat is sold in local markets, roasted on skewers. For families, it is an affordable and accessible source of protein. During times of hardship, rats helped entire villages survive. What Westerners label disgusting, locals embrace as resourceful and practical. Today, some adventurous tourists seek out rat dishes. Food vloggers film themselves biting into skewers, half in fear, half in delight. For locals, it is amusing. What outsiders find shocking is just daily life. The cultural divide once again reveals itself. In one world, rats symbolize filth. In another, they represent survival, ingenuity, and even celebration. The same animal that causes fear in the city brings joy to a feast in the countryside. So, would you dare to try it? Could you put aside the image of the sewer rat and taste the reality of the rice field rat? In Southeast Asia, the answer is simple. To them, it is not horror, it is food, it is tradition, and it is home. If you enjoyed this journey into the world's strangest foods, don't forget to subscribe. More shocking discoveries are waiting for you, right here.